Oh, the blue light is on. Hare Krishna. Good morning, buongiorno, buenos dias, supravatam, dobre utro, boker tov, bonjour. Bonjour to everyone. Welcome to morning program in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, West London chapter. And we'll continue reading today from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love to finish the section, the chapter we were reading, a tragedy of separation that we began yesterday. And the night before yesterday, 2 days ago, was the night that Nimai Pandit Vishvambara Gauranga left home in the dead of night to go to Katva, where he took sannyas on this day. Yesterday was spent with lots of drama, as we heard those opposing the sannyas, Keshavananda giving sannyas to this beautiful young boy, 24 years old. And to and fro during the day, but then today finally took sannyas. So we finished hearing yesterday how Keshavananda was from a Mayavadi, but we can see it in different ways, that either he was actually a devotee who came in the guise of a Mayavadi sannyasi to help the preaching of Mahaprabhu by assisting him with the social formality of taking sannyas. Or either way, he became a devotee when Mahaprabhu asked him, "Is this the mantra you're going to give me?" Sort of gave him the mantra, and then Keshavananda was dancing in the kirtan of Mahaprabhu and immediately converted, says Guru Maharaj. So that's where we'd come to in our reading yesterday. The deed has been done, you can say, and Mahaprabhu's beautiful hair has been shaved off. With the barber crying as he's shaving the hair, gave up barbering after that, became a sweet maker, the barber. And Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. Okay, so the next section is called Krishna Conception, Union in Separation. In this way, the sannyas of Nimai Pandit took place. What is the meaning of his sannyas? Is it redundant, auxiliary, or a necessary part of spiritual advancement? Is it desirable? Although apparently undesirable, still it has its necessity. In the Krishna conception of theism, there is a deep-rooted correlation between union with the Lord and separation from him. In the Krishna conception of theism, there is a deep-rooted correlation between union with the Lord and separation from him. Without separation, union cannot be deep-rooted. The pain of separation can enter into the depth of the heart much more than cheerfulness. Such apprehension increases our satisfaction. The greater our want, the greater our satisfaction. This is especially true in love affairs. If there is no necessity of a thing, it has no value. This principle is found everywhere. A glass of water is ordinary, but according to the degree of its necessity, its value will increase. So the degree of necessity is most important. Necessity means separation. Necessity independent of fulfillment is separation, hunger. Necessity independent of fulfillment is separation, hunger. Separation plays the most important part in both Navadvip and Vrindavan Leela. How many years of union were there between Krishna and the gopis? Krishna was only in Vrindavan from the age of 7 years up to the age of 12, 5 years. Then he went to Mathura. Of course, it is mentioned in the Padma Purana that in peculiar or extraordinary cases, growth should be measured by multiplying by 1.5. So when Krishna is 8 years old, he should be considered 12. When he is 12, he should be considered 18 years of age. So according to his growth, Krishna was in Vrindavan from the age of 12 to 18. But according to his years, from the age of 7 to 12. Okay. So lots in that little one section, so many. The greater our want, the greater our satisfaction. Necessity independent of fulfillment is separation, hunger. These distilled and beautifully sung sutras of Guru Maharaj explaining. Okay, the next section is called The Depth of Divine Love. Krishna stayed in Dwaraka for a long time. Altogether, he lived here on this earth for 125 years. After he left Vrindavan at the age of 12, the pangs of separation were felt by the gopis throughout their whole lives. Their long separation has made their devotion so dignified. The test of separation shows whether love is real. Such a long-standing separation and such a great test has never been found in history. Still, the depth of their love did not diminish. Rather, an inconceivable, ever-increasing depth of divine love was found there. Rather, an inconceivable, ever-increasing depth of divine love was found there. So it's inconceivable. How can what is infinite increase? But it does.
And then the other inconceivable thing is that he actually never leaves.
Right. Yes.
Krishna actually never leaves from that.
So there's many inconceivable factors in all of this, yes.
I like that.
Yes, just, yes. He never leaves, but he does hide. He does hide.
To see how much they love him.
And famously in Imli Tala, right next door to our mat, is Imli Tala, which Guru Maharaj calls the origin of Gauda Tattva, right there. in Imlitala, because that's where Krishna's seeing Srimati Radharani in this state of divine separation, and he's thinking, what is this substance? I don't understand it. I need to taste her heart. So
One sec. Que dice en Brindavan hay un templo que se llama Imlitala y que dice que es como el origen del Gaura Tattva, del pasatiempo de Mahaprabhu, porque ahí fue donde Krishna quería saborear lo que siente ella por él.
And we just read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita just not long ago, we were reading the chapter of the internal reasons or the confidential reasons for the appearance of Mahaprabhu.
Que no sé, hace poco estaba leyendo en Chaitanya Charitamrita las razones internas por las cuales Mahaprabhu decidió descender aquí.
So Krishna stayed on the earth for 125 years, but he was only in Vrindavan for 5 years.
Que Krishna estuvo aquí en la tierra por 125 años, pero que solo estuvo en Vrindavan por 5 años.
Yeah, in the number of years, in his age, from age 7 to 12.
De 7 a 8.
But according to the Padma Purana, 1.5 times growth from the age of 12 to 18.
12 to 18, he was in Vrindavan.
Yeah, well, by years, from 7 to 12. But
Por año, de 7 a 12.
yeah, 5 years. Guru Maharaj is making the point of, he was talking about separation and union.
Que Guru Maharaj está diciendo de la unión y separación.
So Krishna and the gopis were only together in Vrindavan for 5 years.
Que solo estuvieron unidos en Vrindavan con la Gopi por 5 años.
And then all the time, all the long time he was in Dwaraka, they were
Después estaba en Dwaraka.
Okay, we'll continue. And in both Navadvip and Vrindavan, the background is almost similar. In Navadvip, to gain victory over the opposition party, Mahaprabhu left his household life. And in Vrindavan Leela, it is also similar. The opposition in Vrindavan Leela came from Mathura in the form of Aga, Baka, Putana, Trinavata, and other demons who were being sent by King Kamsa. To uproot the opposition, Krishna had to go to Mathura. And when he went there, he found that the opposition was widespread. Kamsa's father-in-law, Jarasandha, Kalayavana, Shishupal, Dantavakra, and many others were inimical to Krishna. So Krishna promised the gopis that after finishing his enemies, he would return to Vrindavan to play peacefully with them. To uproot the opposition party, Krishna had to go away. And he told the gopis in Kurukshetra, I have some other enemies. After finishing them, I will be reunited with you. That sort of hope was given to the gopis in Kurukshetra. Here also, to conquer the opposition party, Mahaprabhu had to leave Navadip. Later, after his conquest of all the Indian scholars and religionists of different positions and creeds, after 5 years, when he returned to Navadvip, everyone was transformed. The mass approached him madly. It is difficult to conceive with what madness the mass approached Sri Chaitanya Deva, the child of their own village. And the next section is the Ganga, filled with human heads. They crossed the Ganga. The whole Ganga, as far as it could be seen, was filled with human heads. They were running towards him from all directions in such a way that the jungles were cleared by human feet. For a few days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed nearby in Vidyanagar and then went towards Vrindavan, singing the holy name of Krishna. Thousands of devotees were running behind him, digging up the earth to take the dust of his holy feet, and huge pits were being created. For about 18 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu led a scholarly life as Nimai Pandit. After that, for about 6 years, he wandered through the length and breadth of India, including Vrindavan. The last 18 years of his life, he remained in Jagannath Puri continuously. For the first 6 years of his sannyas, he mixed with the general public. The last 12 years of his life, he almost retired from the whole human society and engaged himself deeply in tasting the union in separation of Radha Govinda and many extraordinary symptoms of ecstasy which had never been experienced anywhere, nor even heard of, were expressed by him. Separation can produce such wonderful effects in the mind and body. And this next section is called Sri Gauranga Avatar. Sri Gauranga Avatara has twofold characteristics. The apparent reason for his advent is to deliver people in general from sin and to give them the highest attainment of life, to take them towards Vrindavan, Vrajalila, by giving the holy name of Krishna. This is actually the function of the Yuga Avatar, the incarnation of Godhead for the age. The Lord comes to distribute the divine sound and to show how one can reach the highest position through divine sound. Still, he had another purpose to fulfill. Once in Brahma's day, in a special Kali Yuga, Krishna himself comes in the mood of Radharani to search himself. He wants to taste the mood of Radharani, to understand the nature of her inner hankering for Krishna, how she can taste the sweetness of Krishna by her mood, and what is the joy she derives. Krishna wanted to have some experience of why Radharani is so mad for him. He thought, what is there in me that makes her so immeasurably mad for me? What sweetness can she draw from me? I can't ascertain it. He wanted to mold himself in the mood of Sri Radhika and to try to taste his own self from that temperament. So he came as Sri Chaitanya. When he conceived of such an incarnation and proposed his idea to Srimati Radharani, we are told that Radharani on her part said, "Sometimes you will madly roll on the earth taking my name, but I won't be able to tolerate it. I shall cover your body with my golden form. I won't allow you to roll on the earth. I shall cover you with my embrace. So it is said by those who know the ontological aspect of Sri Chaitanya Dev. I offer my respects to Sri Chaitanya Dev, whose mood and colour is Radharani's, and whose inner self is Krishna, searching for himself, tasting himself, and trying to understand why Radharani is mad to taste him, and what sort of sweetness she finds in him. Radha bhava dyuta sabulitam naumi Krishna swarupam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained in this world for 48 years. In the last 12 years of his life, he engaged himself with deep attention. With deep attention in tasting himself. Just as everyone is mad to taste sweetness, Krishna, sweetness personified, is also mad to taste himself. Introspection means to know oneself. Consciousness can know consciousness. And just as one can feel his own body, or consciousness can conceive of itself, ecstasy can also taste ecstasy. This is confirmed by Svarup Damodar Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal secretary, who is considered to be Lalita Sakhi, the nearest friend of Srimati Radharani in the pastimes of Krishna. He has said what Sri Chaitanya Dev is. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Asmad Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gatau Tau Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duti Sabulitam Naumi Krishna Svarupam. I worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, enriched with the emotions and radiance of Srimati Radharani, as the predominating and predominated moieties. Radha and Krishna are eternally one, with separate individual identities. Now they have again united as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. This inconceivable transformation of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency has arisen from the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. In this verse, Svarup Damodar says that the pastimes of Radha Krishna and those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are parallel and eternal. Whether winter is first and summer follows, or summer is first and winter follows, is difficult to say. Similarly, in the eternal pastimes of the Lord, the movement is rolling in a circle. Therefore, Svarup Damodar says, whether Chaitanya Avatar is first and Krishna Avatar is next, or Krishna Avatar is first and Chaitanya Avatar is next, is difficult to say. Both are eternal. And who is Sri Radha? She is the development of the sweetness that springs from Krishna himself. That sweetness, in a developed form as Radha, springs up from within Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a particular potency coming out of Krishna himself, Hladini Shakti. So Radha and Krishna cannot be conceived of as separate entities. The two of them are one and the same. Still, we are told that in ancient times they divided into two, And then again, both of them combine as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose luster and mood is that of Srimati Radharani, and whose nature and reality within is Sri Krishna's. Fire and heat cannot be separated. Sun and light cannot exist separately. They are one and the same. The absolute truth is one absolute substance, Advaya Gyan. But sometimes Radha and Govinda show themselves as divided, and again they are united. When they are together, they are enjoying each other, and sometimes they experience a painful separation without the possibility of union. That is their divine nature. Srila Rupa Goswami explains this as follows. Aher iva gatihi premnaha svabhava kutila bhavet ato heta ehetoscha yuno mana udanshati. He says that just as a serpent naturally moves in a crooked way, in a zigzag way, the nature of love is naturally crooked. It is not straight. So the concerned parties quarrel, sometimes with cause, sometimes without cause, and separation comes. Separation is necessary for the transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And that's why we know that in every love story and every movie, it must be like that. It cannot be just sitting happily. There's always some separation comes and some drama to increase the flavor, yes. The great drama that is the Leela of the sweet absolute. Then Guru Maharaj is talking about the pangs of separation. And he says there are 4 kinds of separation. Purva Raga, Mana, Pravasa, and Prema Vaichitya. Purva Raga means before meeting. This is found when Radha and Govinda are not actually meeting, but somehow one has come in remote connection with the other's name, portrait, or something of that nature. When Radha hears Krishna's name or the sound of the flute, no real meeting is there, but there is some connection. The sound of Krishna's flute, a picture of Krishna, or Krishna's name may bring about Purva Raga. And Krishna may experience something similar by hearing the sound of Srimati Radharani's name. In this way, there are pangs of separation, but no actual meeting. The name is so sweet that he can't contain himself. She can't contain herself. When the holy name of Krishna enters within Srimati Radharani's ear, she becomes perturbed, thinking, is a name as sweet as this possible within this world? This is her reaction, and she experiences this also. She feels, I can't meet him. A pang of separation comes within her heart. That is Purvara, the pain of separation that comes before meeting. Mana is another kind of separation. Mana means that when meeting, there is some difference between them in trifling matters. This is the very nature of love. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami says that love moves in a curved way like a serpent. It is not diseased, but this is the nature of the path of love. Sometimes with a trifling cause or with no cause, a feeling comes that he is neglecting me, he wants to avoid me. And thereby, Srimati Radharani thinks, I don't want his company. Although 100% appreciation is there, still, for the time being, some opposing sentiments spring up from underground. A clash comes in the sentiments of the two, and one wants to avoid the company of the other. Hare Krishna. Oh, it's long. Okay, we'll read one more section. It's a little long section, but at least we'll finish this of the types of separation. Transcendental jealousy. In prema vaichitya, jealousy rises to such a degree that although they are already together, still some sort of thought comes within and makes them think that they are far away from each other. These different kinds of separation are found only in the Madhurya Rasa. Prema Vaichitya is that condition which arises when Krishna is there and Radharani is just nearby, but seeing her own shadow reflected on the body of Krishna, she is so jealous that she thinks it is another lady. So great pangs of separation come within her, and she thinks, what is this? Another lady is there. Her mind revolts. But her friend Lalita is warning her, what are you saying? It's only your own image reflected there. Can't you see it? Then Radharani comes to her consciousness. She particularly notices, oh, it's my own shadow. Then that feeling is immediately gone. This is an example of prema vaichitya. These are extremely high transcendental subjects. And although this is not to be discussed in details, this is the nature of divine love in union and separation. Both are interdependent, for one cannot stay without the other, and separation is created willingly to enhance union. Another kind of separation is called Pravasa. There are two types of Pravasa. One is when the separation is for a limited time. Another is when one has left the country for a far-off place, as when Krishna went to Mathura to attend to other duties. These are the four types of separation pangs between the lover and the beloved. Of course, these transcendental topics are very high, and we should not indulge in them carelessly. For if we project mundane characteristics into the higher plane, our future realization will be harmed. Gurudev protecting us always, Guru Maharaj protecting us always for our own benefit. Our mundane experience will tend to take us down. So we must proceed with caution. What we conceive of at present is not to be found in the plane of Krishna's pastimes. What we conceive of at present is not to be found in the plane of Krishna's pastimes. It is a far higher plane of existence than the realm of our experience. Our vision is adulterated. We have only an alloyed conception of the original thing. We must keep this in mind, and with this caution we may deal with these things. it is safer to deal with the topics of separation between Radha and Govinda than with their union. Of course, we must understand that the pain of separation experienced by Radha and Govinda has nothing to do with this plane. And so, with this caution, we may talk to some extent about separation. But it will be extremely dangerous for us to discuss or to think of when Radha, Govinda and their intimate friends are combined, enjoying each other's company. Because if we deal with the pastimes of Radha and Krishna with any mundane conception, we will create a great offense. So to conceive of the union of Radha and Govinda is more dangerous than cultivating feelings of separation, as Mahaprabhu has shown by his example. In separation from Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking, I can't tolerate even my own life without Krishna, without his grace, without his company, and I can't maintain my undesirable existence. This kind of mood helps us, but still we should not imitate it. Rather, we must respectfully accept it as our highest ideal. This will help us brush aside our filthy, unwanted habits, anarthas. If some tears come, however, we should not think that we have realized the highest stage. That sort of thinking should be avoided. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, I don't have a drop of divine love within me, for otherwise, how could I maintain my mundane life? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas so that the residents of Navadvip would be drawn into this high stage of separation through affection's force. His old mother, Sachi Devi, was crying hopelessly. His young wife, Vishnu Priya Devi, was helplessly passing her days. Mahaprabhu took sannyas to create excitement, piercing into the hearts of the people, the divine love that he came to give. They thought, who was Nimai Pandit? What great benefit did he come to give us? That he left everything made them sympathetic towards him. And for all these reasons, the Lord went to take sannyas. Hare Krishna. How chamatkara, astonishing. Again. So we still haven't finished this chapter, but we're just a little bit more. We will finish it, a few more. It's a long chapter, it's a big subject. But there's a good place to end for this morning. And on the next page there's this picture of the deity of Vishnu Priya Deity's deity of sannyas, of Mahaprabhu, which many of us have had the fortune to have the darshan.
There's also that poem about Mahaprabhu taking sannyas.
Yes, yes.
That's a very beautiful.
Yes, that's also, we can read that, of Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it.
Yeah.
You know, every verse is, but Mahaprabhu has gone to take sannyas. Yes, yes. Hare Krishna. So, anyway, and I think tomorrow, I was a bit confused on the calendar because the dates are different, but it says the same day. But I think it must be tomorrow is the, no, I can't remember, the disappearance of Jiva Goswami. So then we're thinking of the other side of our temple. One side of the temple in Vrindavan is Imli Tala, the origin of Gaura Tattva. On the other side is Radha Damodar, is the place of Jiva Goswami's temple, you can say, and they have a big, wonderful program there tomorrow and throughout the world to remember the inconceivable glories of Jiva Goswami, and so that will be tomorrow. Every day something wonderful. Yesterday, how many plates eventually went out, did he?
I think 110 something.
No, yesterday how many? It was 110. Over 100 plates went out in different directions to fortunate souls. So the kitchen here is amazing, actually, with both the fixtures and fittings that came miraculously, all state of the art and like a commercial grade, which means that the amazing and devotional grade devotees are able to churn out huge quantities of everything, sabji and dal and cakes and wonderful things several times a week, which is going out to homeless shelters, to food banks, to all different places around the area, and is bringing it with it more contacts and like networking with different charities and different organizations. So and the country may be
Donation.
yes, and donation. So the country may be locked down, but certainly the temple itself is very much in full speed ahead mode.
And we are able to do it because we cannot go out and do Harinam Sankirtan.
Yes.
But we can at least do prasad distribution.
Yes, right, exactly.
Right?
Yes. Huh?
Jivadoya.
Yes, Jivadoya is going on in the form of prasadam distribution, and in a big way. To say there's only a few devotees here, it's going on in a big way, actually. As if, if it was all it would take, more devotees, longer time, but now it's condensed a little bit. It's still a big saver, even with all the machines, but it's helped a lot. And receiving foodstuffs and different things from different places. It's very dynamic, actually, going on here in London with the hardcore team, the team here. And very wonderful to see. And many people are happily taking prasadam, and beautiful prasadam, hot meal on a cold day. And they're getting a touch of the mercy of Gurudev and building affectionate relationships with all kinds of people, the people who are running these programs, the people who are receiving the prasada, the people who are donating. So actually, I know it's the same. It's the same kind of thing in Italy as well, that everything's changed a little bit, but somehow or other, by the grace of Sri Guru and Vaishnava, things are still going on, things are still able to happen, even though, externally everything is shut down and not going on. So we're very fortunate to have such devotees and such service in our lives. Jai Gurudev. Hare Krishna. So we can sing Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Who's going to sing?
Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna
Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Radha Radha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Rasa Raghunatha Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Yate Dinana Savishna Purana Jai Gosai Jamui Janandasa Savana Padare Rapanchagasa Chandra Charana Savi Bhakta Sanivasa Janame Janame Mohe Abhilasa Jai Gosai Abhibaje Koya Vasa Radha Krishna Nichalila Korila Prakasha Ananda Holo Hari Bhaja Vindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Mochayamana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Gauriyasha Harinam Sankirtan Kori Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jai Hora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Jai Hora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Jai Hora Hari Bo. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Sabari Kushishi Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai Jai Shila Bhakti Nimala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Shila Bhakti Asunda Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Shila Bhakti Rakakshidhari Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vinda Ki Jai All the London devotees ki jai, all the world devotees ki jai. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Ki jai.